Keep it alive through these lines I write. I keep it live cause I thrive. I might just blow your mind tonight. I'm so hyped, but it's no hype. From this height, it's direct hits on sight. I'm your type, lend me your ears to show you that there's something in me. I'm not giving up, I'm standing right here, holding these days hostage. And I'll make this my year. We turning fear into love, and the love's in the air. I love doing this cause nothing compares. Nothing can share that same type of feeling when you feeling them flares. They can't catch it, it's havoc. I rip to a tear, switch the scenario. My stereos, I leave them impaired. Variables start to change and they're all in my range. I just gotta grab it, it's all mathematics. Every step is drastic, I make it fantastic. I'm trying to take your breath away. Asthmatic.
This is live through the stereo. Go and let it blow, blow through the stereo. I'ma let them know through the stereo. Yo, here we go through the stereo, stereo. This is live through the stereo. Go and let it blow, blow through the stereo. I'ma let them know through the stereo. Yo, here we go through the stereo, stereo.
Yeah, just nod your head with it. So explicit and vivid. Every image is intricate, intimate. I put my all into it. No scrimmage and no rules. I'm a pro tool. Hear my heartbeat, beat into the vocals. I'm so loco, lost my mind, oh no. It's ponderoso, dope, so no overdose, cause it's dope, yo. Man, this is house grown, mixed with some milestones. So I let the style flow down like the Dow Jones. Bringing it with some foul tones, letting the crowd know we getting loud, so it's eardrum rudiments. Yeah, we bring it rude again. Move, little hooligan. Music for tuning in, full time to the 10. I'm on my clock like I told you. I'm doing this for dreams we pursuing.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Anti-Media Radio Show once again with your host Nick Bernabe here on UCY.tv and the antimedia.org/radio. Really happy to be back alive and well on this, Monday? November 20th, 2017, getting up into these holiday seasons. We'll probably be taking Wednesday off, getting stuff ready, heading out of town for my birthday, so probably going to miss a few shows, but let's make up for that with having a great show tonight. A lot of stuff going on. I guess the overriding story today is just the waterfall of sexual harassment / sexual assault allegations just keeps on coming. Several more politicians swept up in accusations today, and another woman came forward about Al Franken. It's almost like a bunch, it's almost like, treating women badly is almost like an inherent trait of being a politician. Oh, we got a siren going by here. Every time I'm trying to get started here, we get a siren going by. Someone decides to die around here. Just kidding. But anyway, yeah. I mean, it almost seems like, treating women badly is an inherent trait for politicians. We're just seeing, accusation after accusation, people from both parties. Of course, you got that real twisted bastard, Roy Moore, running for the Senate. Who was the latest guy?
Which one, Nick?
Yeah, exactly. There's so many of them. There's several of them today alone.
There's huge names coming out, and I think people are just being overwhelmed, but there are huge Hollywood names going down right now. Russell Simmons is going to go down, dude.
Yeah, Russell Simmons, who, huge in the hip-hop scene. I think he's a Def Jam guy, right?
Yeah, man. He's heavily influential, and who knows how many people coming up in the game he abused to get their shot, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And then, all these politicians, these people who, I don't even want to call these people powerful because they're not actually powerful themselves. People give them power, and that's the thing. Really,
something must have happened to those people, huh, Nick?
Yeah, and it's really sad to see these guys taking advantage of their power to use it to manipulate people and take advantage of women, and then beyond that, they take advantage of everybody. All the taxpayers get kind of abused by these guys. Of course, it's not the same as, I'm not trying to compare it to sexual abuse or anything like that, but the point I'm trying to make here is that there's an abusive mentality that just seems to be inherent with these powerful people, people in power, politicians, Hollywood people, business people who are extremely influential. They have there's a hierarchy effect in psychology where these guys kind of up until now they were getting away with this kind of stuff. I'm really glad. I mean, it's so just weird how this stuff happens, but the whole Weinstein thing, started with one accuser and then another and another, and then all of a sudden that Me Too hashtag came out, and then now we're just seeing the chips are falling right now, dude, and it's a very, very revealing kind of epidemic of sexual assault that kind of seems to be infecting the power structures.
And very distracting too, because this tax bill is a nightmare if you read through it. So I hope people understand I hope people get that the economy is going to collapse. That's why this tax bill is coming out. And all kinds of stuff going on. Bunch of stuff happening on foreign policy. Top story today on the anti-media, because of course this is the kind of stuff that you just don't hear about anywhere else. U.S. has deployed 500 troops now to Somalia that we know of, maybe more. Just this country is so big, and we've got tentacles in so many places that it's basically impossible to keep track of everything that's going on, because there's just so much happening, whether domestically or internationally, foreign policy wise, economics.
Well, until I see something different happen, which there's rumors of it going on, but there's no proof, then we know who runs things, and we know why we have tentacles everywhere and why it's never going to end.
Who are you talking about?
Dude, the intelligence apparatus that pushes the military all over the world in private wars, dude. And now not even the military, now XE, and now even ISIS, dude. I mean, it's been proven that we fund them and we control them and we made them. So, we use proxy armies where our military can't go in or won't go in, and we can't sell a war, and we just have a black hole of a budget. I mean, I think we're at now $20 trillion in debt with $20 trillion missing. I wonder if people understand that we've spent $40 trillion the last 40 years on the military. That's $1 trillion a year. Our GDP is only what, like 2?
Well, I wouldn't go as far, back to what you're saying about ISIS, I wouldn't go as far as saying the U.S. controls ISIS.
They do. We fund them.
But yeah, they
I mean, John McCain is over there making it happen, dude. This is all known now. None of this is conspiracy theory anymore. Go look it up. John McCain started it. You can look it up. They also are a private company because they're a corporation. You can look that up too. I mean, none of this is conspiracy theory anymore. It was last year, but now it's all out there.
Yeah, I mean, well, the fact of the matter, from what all the research I've done, ISIS is an outgrowth of U.S. policy, which was to create a destabilizing force in Syria, right, to topple the Syrian government.
These are the ex-Mujahideen and all their delinquent offspring, dude, that we've controlled since the 80s.
Yeah,
and we needed to give them a new target.
And I think everybody knows at this point that Saudi Arabia... I mean, see, here's the thing. The way the U.S. goes about this stuff is they at least cover their tracks. It's not like... Yeah, I highly doubt we're going to uncover any kind of paper trail in the near future where it's like, oh, shit, the U.S. was directly in charge of ISIS. I don't think that's how it works. How it works actually is we give a bunch of shit to Saudi Arabia, and then Saudi Arabia directly... pulls the strings for ISIS. That way we wash our hands of it and we say, no, we didn't actually do it. We didn't know the Saudis were doing that. That's terrible. Even though we know that they know the Saudis were doing it. That, again, like you said, this is not a conspiracy theory. It's just, this is U.S. foreign policy. It's very dishonest. It's backhanded. They basically lie to us on a constant basis, and they steal our money.
But it's not U.S. policy. It's not, dude. It's the shadow government policy. That's really what it is. None of the people I know that have ever joined the military were thrilled about all the fights we went and did after they got home. I mean, that's why there's so many suicides, because we're fighting dishonorably, dude. If nobody, when we knew the facts after 9/11, nobody would have supported any of that crap, dude. So it's all a shell game ran by false flags. I was just thinking to myself, the last 5 major wars we've been in, 3 have been started by false flags. I mean, we're talking 50 million people probably dead from fake events.
Fake news. Yeah, I was about to introduce Jake, and we lost him. Oh, all right, there we go. Hey, Jake, welcome to the show, man. How you doing, dude?
I'm good. I was about to add on to what DB was saying, but I think he pretty much covered it. I mean, I don't know how far down a rabbit hole we want to go, but I was thinking. I mean, in many ways, the sexual assault scandals coming out of Hollywood, it's almost like we've reached like a social singularity, and we're at a point of no return now, where things are going to be so changed from this. And like I said before, like my hope is that this spreads into other categories. And imagine a Me Too hashtag for false flags. I mean, I'm strange idea, probably won't happen, but imagine if, and not just false flags, it doesn't have to be, that conspiratorial, but imagine like a Me Too style hashtag campaign for any number of these insidious crimes perpetuated on civilization by, the corrupt oligarchy that controls things, and it could really change the world. I mean, if we start accepting more of a whistleblowing culture into our society instead of this kind of skeptical doubting of anything that isn't confirmed by the mainstream media, who knows what could happen.
Yeah, dude, it's really tough for me, for us to kind of try to decipher realistically between fact and fiction, because first of all, everybody wants to call everything a false flag. It's like, the Las Vegas shooting was a false flag. What was the last shooting in Texas? That's a false flag. This is a false flag. That's a false flag. Everything's a false flag. The minute it happens, like, yeah, it's a false flag. How the fuck do you know, right? So it's hard to like really dig down deep and find facts and find a paper trail and find whistleblowers, and then by the time we actually get them, a lot of these people, and Jake, we talked about this a while back, a lot of these people have already poisoned the well with these batshit crazy, conspiracy theories that have no basis in reality. By the time the real conspiracy is exposed, everyone's like, we already heard that it was all this crazy ass shit and it's all sensationalized, so whatever. You're like, So it's really tough for us to not to find the true information, the true stories that need to be told, and not get trapped or tricked by this sensationalist clickbait conspiracy theory. I mean, there's a whole economy that's now popped up around conspiracy theories. I would say the leader of this economy would be Your Newswire and people like Neon Nettle, people like Veterans Today, and these kind of websites who seemingly, you look at the site and it doesn't look that bad. It doesn't come off as like patently fake or anything. But these guys, and it's not satire either, because it's not funny. It's literally just they make up stuff they base it off of current events, and they say things like, Morgan Freeman exposes elite pedophile ring and stuff like that. I just saw a headline like that a couple days ago from Your Newswire.
There's no way Morgan Freeman is going to bust a pedo ring by himself. Just not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. And then if you go look and fact check, all you got to do is take 2 seconds to go fact check the claim, and then it's like, oh, okay, this is like total bullshit. But people don't bother fact checking; they just headline sharing. And so not only is there an economy that's propped up around misleading people and basically spreading fake conspiracy theories, there's a bunch of useful idiots online that don't give a shit about fact checking and probably don't even read the fucking articles to begin with, headline sharing stuff that just reconfirms their own confirmation bias. Like, oh, I'm against pedophiles, so I'm just going to share this headline that says Morgan Freeman just exposed an elite pedophile ring, even though it has no basis in reality. Well, guess what? You're a lazy idiot. That's part of the problem. I'm sorry to say, but I'm so sick and tired of these assholes. And, you know, the problem is that here on the Anti-Media, dude, we're covering genuine conspiracies because a lot of shit going on every day with foreign policy and with the cops and a bunch of different stuff. A lot of it's conspiracy. I mean, today we covered a story about a detective over in North Carolina who was a guy who basically sets up stings to catch pedophiles and shit. And he set up a sting, and then he come to find out it was another cop in his own department that got entrapped in the guy's sting. And when he went to go bust him, the guy got fired by his department, and he's been silenced, and they've been trying to tarnish his reputation. This is a real conspiracy that's unfolding right now, and nobody's even looking at it. I mean, we posted it today, and yeah, I got a few people read it and stuff, and thank you to the people out there listening today that actually read these stories. But
that was unbelievable, Nick. I read that.
This ridiculous sensationalism of Morgan Freeman fucking single-handedly taking down pedophile rings and shit. It's like, it's hard to compete with genuinely fact-based, accurate conspiracies because these fucking conspiracy peddlers have poisoned the well for everybody else. These guys are like relatively new. I don't know how old your Newswire is, but I don't think it's more than like 3 years old. I mean, we started covering these genuine conspiracy theories, and then these dudes came along and poisoned the well with all this fake shit. And so, people out there, every time I accept a lot of friend requests. Whenever I see somebody that's not a close friend sharing like your Newswire and shit, I just block them right away. I'm like, you're too stupid to even fucking waste my time. Clog up my newsfeed with your bullshit. Block. If it's a close friend, I'll be like, look, dude, you got to check into this. This is not legitimate information. It's fake news. Like, it's bullshit. People get so defensive too. Well, how do you know it's fake? And how do you know it's this? And how do you know it's that? Dude, fact check it. Go look for yourself. I'm sorry to say, even my own friends, I would say like 8 out of 10 times they won't take it down. They won't delete the post. They won't apologize for spreading bad information. They'll leave it up there. Well, what if it is true? And even if it's not true, like, they just have excuses for it, dude. And people get their feelings hurt because they get caught sharing fake information and shit. I get it, dude. Your feelings hurt, but
you'll be happy to know that Google and Facebook, Microsoft, the Washington Post, and Twitter are all joining forces to create a trust algorithm.
Oh, that's so amazing! Now we get the billionaire dudes and the.
Why did Soros sell his stock in Facebook then? That's weird.
We get the billionaire dudes to tell us what's accurate and what's not. That's amazing because these assholes have poisoned the well, and these useful idiots are sharing a bunch of fake information. On the other hand, you know what, dude? Like, if people are dumb enough to buy into this crap, whatever, dude. I mean, screw it. I'm at that point where I'm just like, you're dumb enough to do it, you deserve it. You know what I mean? Fine, dude. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and we're going to keep pushing out fact-checked information of legitimate conspiracies going on, which are happening on a daily basis, especially on foreign policy. Like this whole thing with ISIS. I mean, this is the biggest conspiracy of our time. The whole thing of where ISIS came from, how we've been dealing with ISIS. I mean, we just let them evacuate like a whole town, one of their strongholds. We let them evacuate out back into like Iraq from Syria. And then now, latest headline, let's see, yesterday, where we at? Let me find it. Syria. Okay, U.S. Or ISIS officially defeated in Syria, but the U.S. says it's going to stay. So this, again, is another conspiracy. We said we were going over there into Syria. Obama put us in there because we had to fight ISIS. You guys remember initially in 2013, Obama and Kerry and all them and Hillary Clinton and everybody else was trying to get us to invade Syria, regime change Assad, and kind of install a new regime over there, which would, Libya style, which would probably have failed and become a total shithole, even worse than it is. That didn't happen because public opinion just didn't let it happen. Basically, that was the only time that one of the only times that I've witnessed where public opinion actually stopped politicians from being assholes, or from making a huge mistake. And I'm proud to say that we were a big part of that. And that really is probably one of the biggest highlights of my entire life.
We got to stop Iran because we know that's coming up.
Yeah, it really is. And that would be the biggest disaster. I mean, that would be the final end of the U.S. empire if they went into Iran.
Yeah,
I mean, that would be a lot. Who knows what that would be?
Much worse than North Korea.
World War III is a possibility if we try to fight with Iran. And Trump's had to stick up his ass for Iran since when he was running for president. In fact, the Republicans in general, the neocons, I mean, look back to the 2012 election. You remember those debates? They were basically the Republican debates in 2012 was basically it was like an advertising push for the military-industrial complex to go after Iran. I mean, those guys knew they weren't going to win. They ran Mitt Romney in the middle of Occupy Wall Street. I mean, they knew they weren't going to win. I mean, that's like running McCain against Obama. They knew they weren't going to win. But all those debates was just talking about, okay, yeah, Iran needs to be bombed. Like the whole premise of the arguments was, do you want to bomb Iran the first day you get into office, or do you want to bomb Iran the first 3 months that you get into office? And that was like the question of the debate, you know. And this happened repeatedly after like 15 debates. It was like Iran. And so the neocons have had to stick up their ass for Iran for a very long time. And yeah, dude, Trump is surrounded himself with neocons on his foreign policy staff. All those old military brass and all that stuff. I mean, those guys a lot of them are just out of touch with reality. And they're just all over Iran, dude. Everything is about Iran. And then North Korea, of course, you know, they declared North Korea a state sponsor of terrorism, which is a joke. I mean, when was the last time North Korea committed a terrorist act? When was the last time North Korea attacked anybody? I mean, I know they've had skirmishes with South Korea and stuff.
Yeah, they just attacked them.
I don't remember North Korea ever attacking anybody. How the fuck are they a state sponsor of terrorism? That makes no sense. And then
they are. I could break it down, but it would take all show.
These guys are like, trying to act like Iran is this huge sponsor of terrorism. Well, guess what? Iran just kicked ISIS's ass.
And they're kicking Saudi Arabia's ass through a proxy, which is bad.
If that's what they're mad about, then I don't know what. I really don't know.
It's because they keep sharing nuclear material with North Korea back and forth. That's what they do. Iran and North Korea keep sharing. They keep getting better and better nukes because they keep sharing research.
And I'll tell you what, though. Can you blame them? I really don't.
No, you can't blame them.
If I was in that situation, if I was a country isolated on the world, and the U.S. government had it out for me, guess what? I'd be developing nuclear weapons as quickly as I fucking could, because that's...
Well, Iran is just stupid. I mean, I hope people that have a gasoline car, because I'm getting worried now. If we go after Iran, gas is going to go to like $10, dude. So I'm thinking like electric car as soon as possible.
Yeah, you got to get yourself that new Tesla Roadster, bro.
I can't fit in it, dude. I think I'm gonna get that Tesla fucking that 18-wheeler though, and just drive that with no trailer.
That'd be pretty cool.
I heard it goes 0 to 60 in 20 seconds, so it probably is like 0 to 60 in 10 with no trailer.
Yeah.
I'm saving everything for a flying car.
Yeah,
dude, a flying car is available right now, Jake, but it's like $100,000 or something.
Right. Well, I'm gonna wait till I get the Sam's Club model.
To build it yourself.
Man. Well, look, we harp on foreign policy all the time. This. I want to go back to this whole sex scandal stuff. I don't want to dwell on it, the specifics too much here, but there was something we talked about recently on this show. And it's something that I've been really considering a lot of. And if we look back, again, just referencing the No War with Syria movement that we, again, helped orchestrate, it was fast, spontaneous, and autonomous. And it sprung up within a week, and it worked. It stopped them in their tracks. And like I said, that's the only time that I can remember
politicians actually bending to to public opinion because it was so strong. Now, what's happening with this massive sex scandal is it's becoming a cascade where it's building up so quickly that I think there's actually going to be an opening here where something big can actually happen, and it can take down a couple of major, important, powerful people who have been probably in charge of a lot of shit for a long time. And so I don't think we're in a position to be spearheading this movement. I think it definitely needs to come from the demographics who are more affected by it and that kind of thing. But I definitely feel like with this cascade of accusations coming out, we could see at least a minor upheaval if a movement can be put together and can strike right now while the iron is hot. I mean, it's got to be big. There's got to be there's got to be like big time marches, like the Women's March after all these people that were upset that Hillary Clinton didn't win. I mean, we need stuff on that scale to take down these politicians and these powerful figures. There's like CEOs getting taken down, even people in like the somewhat alternative media. The Young Turks, some dude got fired today. What was that guy from CBS? Not Dan Rather. No, that guy. That's the old guy. Someone from CBS got taken down today.
Talking about Mark Halperin. The MSNBC guy, and he also worked for CBS.
Hold on. It's a recognizable name. Let's see what's.
Dude, it's people in all. There's chefs. There's yoga teachers. I mean, it's happening all across.
Charlie Rose. Charlie Rose accused of sexual misconduct at CBS. I guess he's been taken off the air as well. So, I mean, it's like all the people who people look up to. Well, I seen a meme about it the other day. It's like 2016 was the year where all your favorite celebrities died, and then 2017 is the year when all your favorite celebrities are dead to you. Because this thing is just engulfing a bunch of people. And like you said, Jake, I mean, maybe we're in a point of what did you say? Not singularity. God, I'm forgetting what you said. But we're at a breaking point here with these accusations, and something big can happen here. But it's got to happen quick, because sooner or later the public is just going to lose interest, and there's going to be some big distraction. I think that if it were to happen fast enough, we can see maybe a bunch of people in Congress get removed. We could see a bunch of people in the the face of this country, the Hollywood people, the news people, the people on TV. We could see a bunch of them get removed if the movement can come up fast enough and strike and take them down and hit them hard, and land some punches. Like I said, the Women's March that were upset about Hillary Clinton losing, maybe if that group got back together and said, you know what, we're going to put politics aside and we're going to take down these guys from both sides of the aisle, and we're going to demand that anybody in Hollywood, anybody in the entertainment industry, anybody in the news industry that's accused be held accountable. Dude, I mean, you can see, maybe we could see a big thing. And then also the other good thing about this stuff coming to light is that people, there's a lot of older people out there, I think, that don't even realize that a lot of this stuff is unacceptable. Like, I can kind of see like an old dude slapping a woman on the butt and just thinking, okay, yeah, that's fine. Even if it, of course, I'm not talking about your own wife or whatever, but just like George H.W. Bush, he's been accused of groping women while he's taking a picture, grabbing them, and he probably thinks that stuff is okay. I mean, these old guys that grew up kind of thinking that stuff's acceptable, now it's become, now there's enough understanding where it's like, yeah, that's totally unacceptable. Maybe we can start seeing people come to a reckoning here, and then in the future, people will start knowing, okay, yeah, that stuff's unacceptable. I'm not going to do that stuff anymore because now I know that it's wrong. I think a lot of these guys, I hate to kind of dumb them down like that, but I think a lot of these older guys don't even realize some of the more like just sexual misconduct type of stuff. Of course, I'm not talking about sexual assault. I mean, they know that shit's fucking wrong. But I'm talking about more of the sexual misconduct type stuff. I think a lot of these guys, it's been so normalized for so long that they think it's okay. And hopefully all this stuff coming to light will make people understand, yeah, no, you can't do that stuff. Not acceptable. And it can hurt people mentally, which can lead to physical pain and lead to long-term consequences for people, who have to cope with that kind of stuff. And so it's about damn time that people come to grips with understanding, okay, treating certain people a certain way just because you feel like you're in a powerful position is not acceptable, and so hopefully that's a lesson that comes out of this. If nothing else, if we don't see some upheaval, if we don't see 20% of Congress getting shut, getting kicked out, which, it seems to be pretty unlikely unless something really big happens. Even if we don't see anything big like that, at the very least, we start seeing people say, you know what, that shit is unacceptable, and I'm not going to just be quiet about it. And when it happens, as soon as something happens, you speak up about it, because now people can be empowered about speaking up about that kind of stuff.
I don't think Congress is going to be as big of a shock as Senate. I think if you look at the people that are in the Senate right now, there are a lot of them have been in there, 20, 30, 40 years. And, I mean, there's a report out now that's been verified that Pelosi's signature was on a payout to a minor sex assault victim from an unnamed California politician. All right, so we have an enabler in Pelosi and a cover-upper. And then we also know that now with Franken, a third woman has come out. And this is just the beginning, dude. I really think we're going to see a Senate shakeup, and God, do we need one. And if it's on the back of people's sick perversion, so be it, as long as we get some kind of change with these people, because they've been in for too long, man, and they're bad. They're destroying the country. If you want to see a single group of individuals ruining the country, it's the Senate base.
Yeah, they're really collectively, these institutions, they're further eroding any American's faith, as if it weren't bad enough already. But if anything, we could see an action from above, because they're scared, and rightly so, that people are just going to completely lose faith and just like not be interested in being governed anymore. If the people governing you are sick fucks, then they might decide, what. This anarchism thing, it doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that there's a collective punishment that's going to be dealt, and just Congress had. I know I always cite this number. I know it's somewhere around 10%. I don't know what the most recent polling says, but Congress is generally at a 10% approval rating. And with all these allegations coming out, I'm sure that's going to take even more of a beating. I mean, how far down does it have to go? 0? Before people are like, you know what, fuck this. But I think overall it's kind of Americans and people around the world really are kind of trapped in this psychological prison where it's like, well, it's the best thing that we got, and democracy is better than fascism and or monarchy or dictatorship. So it is what it is. We're just gonna we gotta go vote for these assholes. They suck, but we'll vote them out, but the reality is they get voted back in. So maybe we're gonna see a bigger distrust of the government thanks to this movement, and to this.
I think it's here already.
Yeah, I mean,
I think the average people I've met are like, dude, both parties are disgusting, and we need to destroy them both and start with like 4 or 5 parties, because we are a left and then a left, center, right, and right center. There are those kind of variations. There should be 5 strong political parties.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that would be better than the crap we have right now, for sure. Of course, my personal feelings is that we should be getting to a point eventually where we don't have any politicians and stuff.
But that's a dream that actually may be coming. I'll talk about that a little bit too.
I don't know if it'll be in our life though, Nick. That might be
not in the United States, but I want to talk about this other project that's coming up too, because this is something that I'm going to be participating in, and I'm actually going to be leaving the States sometime pretty soon. I'm getting out, man. I can't. I want in my core it says it's like stay and fight and help fix this place. A lot of it is
Mexico.
For a little bit, yeah, but there's a lot of good people in this country, but there is a lot of fucking idiots too, and a lot of people really are okay with the status quo. A lot of people are totally okay with it, and they make up the majority.
But you can't protect yourself in any other country en masse, so the government can just do whatever they want. And I mean, every other country in the world, they do that.
Well, so here's the thing: there's going to be a new country cropping up in the next 3 years, and it's called the Free Society. And there's some of these early crypto moguls are spearheading this thing, and they're purchasing a very big piece of land off of an existing country, and it's going to be set up. It's going to be declared sovereign, and it's going to be its own non-country basically, and it's not going to have a government. And people can move there. It's going to be all based on kind of private property, and there's going to be rules, and there's going to be an agreement, a contractual agreement. People can't harm other people. It's going to be based kind of on the non-aggression principle. And this is supposed to be happening within the next 2 or 3 years. And so I am probably going to move there because every day I see the stuff that the U.S. does, and I know that I'm funding it, even though I try.
Where do you find out about that, Nick? How is it online?
Freesociety.com. It's still in the early stages. There's going to be some more information coming out about it soon. A guy named Roger Ver has a bunch of videos on it. He's one of the earliest investors in Bitcoin companies and stuff.
Where is it?
They haven't announced where it's going to be yet, but I'm guessing it's going to be somewhere near Australia or something like that. I'm not for sure.
Yeah, I just subscribed. They said they're going to let you know immediately.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's going to be somewhere closer to Asia, but it could also be in Mexico, or it could be in Australia. I'm not sure. It could be in Brazil. I don't know. We're going to find out. But it's going to be an interesting project. And I had my buddy on the show last Wednesday. My buddy Mike joined us, and we were talking about doing some community work and stuff. And we went and we had a meetup last night with some people, local people, and just throwing some ideas around. And we're starting a community farm at my buddy's place. He has a big backyard. We're starting a little community farm out there, doing some community work, and it's going to be building gardens for people around here in San Diego and stuff in their house, in their backyards. And it's going to be a business and stuff, but it's going to be like an act. It's a business that's liberating, which I think is really the way to go, because the one thing that activism really forgets about is self-interest. Everybody's got self-interest. I mean, one of the most underlying things above the just survival for human nature is self-interest. People do stuff because it's going to make them money, it's going to make their lives easier, it's going to make them more comfortable, it's going to make them more healthy, or whatever. Self-interest is a big deal, and I think activism many times leaves that out. So we're starting my buddy's starting a business. I'm going to help him out, building gardens for people, and so that they can save money, get healthier food and stuff like that. But we were talking more and more about it because my buddy that was on the show on Wednesday, he really wants to start like a community that's like a kind of a off-grid, eco community type of thing. And we were talking about where we're going to do it at, and we're like, well, California is pretty cool, but we got all these high taxes, shitload of regulations, strict ass gun laws, and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, well, Arizona is pretty cool. They don't have very many gun laws, and they have strong property rights, but you can't have weed out there, and you can't, there's like each state is like a contradiction, right? Almost every state is a contradiction. I don't know, maybe Colorado is maybe more of a balanced, more kind of libertarian leaning state where it's more balanced, where they're liberal on drugs and they're conservative on guns, and they kind of have more of a balance. But
dude, you would love northern Colorado. They even have good beer.
You had me at beer.
I'm serious. They have beer, weed, and guns there, and it's a college town, so they have concerts.
Damn, that is pretty cool.
Fort Collins, look it up. Fort Collins.
Society thing. So I might go in on this with you, Nick.
And Jake, we talked about this a little. I think when you were here visiting, and we want you to do the documentary for us. We're gonna document all this stuff. Again, this is like 3 years out, so
no, I'm down, man. I'm ready to start. I mean, whenever I'll fly down and we can, I want to document even if I don't end up living there, man. I want to really help document, cover the process of you trying to get involved and kind of use the leverage of anti-media to, really draw attention to what's trying to be done.
Yeah, dude. And so, this thing will be really cool because it'll be an incubator. There's going to be a lot of eyes on it. There's going to be, look, I mean, not to toot my own horn here, but, I consider myself a pretty smart person. And let's face it, the United States has been already experiencing a brain drain for the last several years. It started under Obama. It's accelerating under Trump. This year, there's been a record number of people renouncing their citizenship. Last year, there was a record number of people. The year before that, there was a record number of people. Right now, most of the people are heading to New Zealand, but they're heading all over the world. They're heading to Asia. A lot of the smartest people are getting out, or if they're not out, they're preparing to get out. Like you guys have been hearing about these billionaire dudes that are like buying properties in New Zealand and buying islands and
Well, there's a lot of reasons for that, though.
Yeah, that, and Zuckerberg is trying to get an island in Hawaii. These guys they're preparing for the eventual shit hit the fan situation, which I'm not going to say it's going to happen in the next. I still think there's 10 years left, at least in the U.S., but these guys are preparing just for when it happens. It happens.
But the new dollars just came out. The thing is that there's so much crap on mainstream media now that they don't even report reality anymore. The new dollar just came out, and it actually is gold backed again. And you're going to be able to convert it to gold and trade it online.
What dollar are you talking about?
Whoever the treasury guy is, Steve Mnuchin or whatever the hell that guy was. I don't know his name, how you pronounce his last name, but he was holding up the new dollars.
Oh, so yeah.
The brand new 2018s are going to be gold backed because
it look like some kind of Bond villain.
Yeah, because that's the whole reason Trump went over to China and Japan and South Korea, because that's where all our debt was held, and we just renegotiated it, and now we're going to go back to gold back.
Well, I mean,
we have to, or we're going to collapse.
I'd have to
one or the other.
I'd have to see your source on that because I doubt it, because if they backed it with gold, there's just so many trillions of dollars out there floating around. If they backed it with gold, we'd be bankrupt overnight.
Well, it'll be I don't know what they're going to do. It's going to be a new currency.
If there's a whole new currency that's in partnership with China and stuff, maybe I could see maybe that happening. But here's the thing. We were talking about where we want to build this community, and every place has its its bright side and its dark side. It's got pluses and minuses, and we were looking at it, and I was like, you know what, like there's this new country popping up, and it's gonna be it's by no means like gonna be a walk in the park. We're gonna probably be having to build all the infrastructure from scratch, which by the way
we're gonna be cannibals, dude.
What's that?
We're gonna be cannibals.
Yeah, we're gonna turn into cannibals for sure. But we're talking about it, and we're like, look, we're gonna put a website up. We're gonna start accepting people to apply to become part of it. So the idea is here, like I said, this country is not gonna have a government. There's gonna be no police. There's gonna be no military. Policing is still gonna take place via security, and there's still gonna be defense via militias, right? So there's gonna be community defense and
There's going to be, I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of militias that have an alliance that'll defend the place if it ever got attacked or whatever. There's going to be no gun laws, no drug laws. It's kind of just, it's a genuinely free society where anything goes, and people can set up their own private communities and they can set up their own rules. So if we had if someone moved there and created a community on 20 acres of land and said, you know what, in our community we don't allow guns. It's a gun-free area, and that's just our rule. It's a private property. If you come in, you've got to leave your gun on the outside. A rule is a rule. It's just like a house. If you have a house and people come in, they got to take off their shoes, even if they don't want to. Well, you got to take off your shoes if you come into my house, or you don't come in. Not in my place, but just there's people like that. And the idea here is that we're going to set up a community in this free society. We'll have our own basically a little town that'll be mostly off-grid, kind of an eco-community where we have our own, there's still going to be rules. We're going to have our own security. We're going to have our own defense. But, it'll be generally much, much, much more free to do what you want than in the U.S., anywhere in the U.S. We're gonna set up a site. People can apply. There's going to be an application process to become part of it. I was thinking last night, I'm like, well, how are we going to filter out? Because, I know people in person like Jake and DB. I know you guys, and I know you guys aren't nuts, and I know you guys aren't sociopathic, power-hungry maniacs. And so I wouldn't think twice to be like, yeah, you guys are already in. You don't even got to apply.
There's be a lot of sociopathic ANCAPs winning in on that, man.
So basically, also include.
Is there any ANCAP that's not sociopathic?
There's some good ones for sure. I
mean, they're good-hearted, but at the end of the day, it's basically I'm going to kick you in the balls and take your shit.
Not aggression principle, bro. There's still.
I'm sorry, you can't have that combo and not kick people in the balls. It's just going to happen.
Yeah, there's an inevitable, which is. Well, I'll let you get back to your description. As interested as I am in it, doesn't it kind of seem like that's what they wanted the U.S. to be initially, and then things just kind of escalate.
That damn Second Amendment, damn it! You just can't take people's shit with it.
Look, I don't want to bash too hard on ANCAPs. I used to consider myself an ANCAP, but the well, again, going back to the well being poisoned, it's a big problem with a lot of different movements. And the whole Trump phenomena, a lot of ANCAPs reverted back to right-wing authoritarianism. I guess a lot of them were converted over from republicanism, or from Republicans to ANCAPs, and then they just reverted back. And so that really tarnished the brand a lot. But I do know a lot of ANCAPs that are good people, that are principled, that are not violent, and are very smart, intelligent people. I think the dumb ones reverted back and voted for Trump. But anyway. We're going
as long as we have the Second Amendment, we can be ANCAPs. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So in the application process, we're going to set up a personality test, right? And so we're going to hopefully filter out most of the crazies and the sociopaths and the power-hungry manipulators and stuff like that, and figure all that out. We got building up a long-term plan. I'll let you guys know once the website comes out. People can start signing up. It's going to just be you sign up your email and you'll receive an email update every now and then. And
wait, so Nick, you're working with the Free Society?
No, so what we're doing is we're building a sub community within it, right?
Oh, okay.
And of course, like
make sure that there's no, it's not open society.
No, that's the Soros thing. No, Soros is not going to be part of this thing.
He's not going to fund it and move in and stuff, because I heard he wears Speedos on the beach.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. So we're gonna have a weed farm. You don't even gotta worry about that. Weed is gonna be part of this thing. But anyway, we're going to basically start getting the seed money together. People can start pitching in. The idea here, so basically, according to the Free Society people, they're going to get as much money together, purchase as big of a piece of land as possible, and then all the land will be auctioned off. I'm sure the initial people pitching in seed money will get whatever percentage of they pitch in, they'll get that percentage of land. So the idea is to gather as much seed money as possible up front, so that we can put as much money up front as possible, so that we can get as much land, as much land as possible. And then, I was thinking a way that we could start funding the development of it is kind of setting up residential areas and pre-selling, selling people pre-construction on these, low-cost residential areas. Probably start building them out of like shipping container homes. I'm sure you guys have seen those. They're really cool. Start building like low-cost housing and stuff like that on the property, and start trying to get people to start paying payments on it up front, so that we can start developing this stuff. And that's kind of the general idea. And then we get everybody together and move out there, and we can start a whole new free society. And this place is going to be a brain magnet. It's going to be a business magnet. It's going to be a petri dish for ideas. It's going to be a free zone. I mean, it's going to be the freest country that's ever existed. It'll have drug tourism, I'm sure. I'm sure it'll also have sex tourism. And it'll have all kind. There's going to be some edgy things going on there, and some stuff that are, your average Baptist is going to look down on this place. But people are going to see this thing from the outside world, and they're going to be like, holy shit, freedom actually works. We should try that one day. And so I think there's so many people out there who are looking at trying to experiment with new forms of organizing societies, right? And if you guys, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to any of these new these new projects that are popping up. There's two things I want to mention. There's the Startup Societies, what is it? The Startup Societies Foundation, and then the Seasteading Institute. So Startup Societies Foundation is basically, these are guys trying to create like high-tech cities or experimental cities, and like private cities and stuff like that, and experimenting with radical new forms of government. And then there's the Seasteading Institute, which is spearheading the idea of building up cities and countries in the ocean, artificial islands and that kind of thing.
I went to one of their events.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I went to. Every year they do something called the Ephemerisle, and they link a bunch of boats together out by Sacramento on the bay there. And I went to one of them, and because one of my friends was working with Friedman, who's Friedman's son, Milton Friedman's son.
Oh yeah.
And so I met him and a bunch of those people. So yeah, I've been keeping tabs on the Seasteaders for a while.
So what do you think about it, Jake?
Well, I definitely think these kinds of experiments need to be going on. I mean, to me, that's been the thing about a lot of those politics that I don't like, is because you got to see some of this stuff in action, and some of them are going to fail before any of them succeed. So we need to start seeing some of these experiments, really get off the ground. So I'm really excited about it, Nick. I mean, I want to be a part of it for sure.
Exactly, and that's what I kind of see it as. It's really it's a place to experiment with society. It's a place to try out radical new organization of human beings. I mean, we've been organizing ourselves in basically the same way since the Greeks, right? We've been organizing ourselves since Athenian democracy was thought of. That was 2,500 years ago. And what the hell has that really brought us? I mean, the first one itself became an empire, and then the Romans kind of picked up where that left off, and we know what happened there. And like you said, DB, the founding fathers thought that the founding fathers had this misconception that they were starting something that was going to be free, except they started it up with slavery being a reality. They started up with genocide, taking land from Native Americans and shit. So that was doomed to fail from the beginning. But it was also based. Not only was it done in bad faith, but it was based on a tried and failed. This idea of Republican democracy. It's been around for so long, and it just keeps failing and failing and failing and failing. And every time there's a revolution, it's like,
the old guys were bad, so we're gonna just have a revolution and put better people in and keep the same type of human organization. And the problem is, it's not the people, it's the organization that is flawed. It Republican democracy in general, I think it exploits flaws in the human psyche, and it deteriorates. It turns into what we're quickly becoming in the United States, where people are starting to say, you know what, authoritarianism doesn't sound too bad because these assholes in Congress just can't do shit. And so maybe we should just put it in the hands of one guy that could just make shit happen. And that's kind of what happened with Hitler and stuff. And that's what happens generally when dictators take power from a republic. It's because the republic is so dysfunctional, so divided, that the people are like, you know, they get so tired of it, they're like, screw it, just put one guy in charge and let him make all the decisions for us, and at least something will happen. And I think that's what happens with these dictators and shit. And so, you know, democracy is flawed. It doesn't account, or maybe it does account for human nature and actually exploits it. That's not what we want.
It follows it succinctly, which is very, very imperfect. I mean, I think we can all agree that we're not following our better angels at this point in human history.
Yeah, you know, we're going down.
A lot of bad people out there, and we're seeing it every day now. They're getting busted, thankfully.
Yep, exactly. And so, look, I'm going to open this up for everybody listening tonight. You guys are all invited to join this project. And again, it's about 3 years off, but we're going to start organizing it in the coming months, because we got to start collecting resources for this thing. When it happens, when it hits, we got to be able to strike while, you know, because look, the other thing too is, if this project takes off, if the free society starts becoming, you know, like just us, we're going to be putting out a documentary, and millions of people are probably going to watch it. Once the world starts realizing, shit, like, that place is actually pretty cool, and then at the same time they're realizing, holy shit, the United States is really going through some rough patch, and a bunch of other countries in Europe and Asia, everywhere, is going to be like, damn, we're struggling. People are going to want to move there. I mean, not only is this thing going to be a cool experiment, it's literally going to be the best investment probably you've ever made, that anybody's ever made. I mean, the land that we purchase with this project is probably going to go up in value exponentially. I wouldn't doubt it. And the other thing is, you know, well, first of all, everybody listening tonight, you're invited to apply for it. And if I know you guys, and I know you are, you're a shoo-in. We're going to open it up to the public to become part of it. Again, we're going to filter people out with a personality test and an application process. We're trying to keep the assholes out, basically. We want it to be a friendly, peace-loving place where people are nice, you know, but at the same time, smart, you know, people who are resourceful, take care of themselves. The other thing that we're going to be doing is identifying we're going to be identifying all the specialists that we need. Like, we're going to need someone that knows how to do construction, plumbing, electricity, solar installation, water, you know, surveying, gardening, farming. You know, we're going to need entrepreneurs. You know, we're going to be identifying people. And Jake, I mean, I was already talking to my friends yesterday, like, dude, I got our video guy, our documentarian, my buddy Jake. We already talked about it. I already know he's going to be down.
Nice.
So, you know, we're gonna need a bunch of specialists to fill the niches that we're gonna need in this community, so that we can get stuff done cheaply. You know, we're not gonna have to hire some contractor each time we have some issue come up. We'll have people.
DB can be the oil wrestling expert.
Yeah.
The bear wrestler.
DB's gonna be our realtor, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll negotiate the hell out of some construction.
There you go.
Nick, before we run out of time, what do you think the financial investment would be like just to get in? We're out of time. To be continued.
$100,000.
Hey, every put in, you get a percentage. So if you put in $5,000, you get a full
This is live through the stereo. Go and let it blow through the stereo. I'ma let them know through the stereo. Yo, here we go through the stereo. This is live through the stereo. Go and let it blow through the stereo. I'ma let them know through the stereo. Yo, here we go through the stereo.